Hey, Angela.
So, guys, on Candidly COVID today, we're talking about something that is on everybody's mind, and that is mortgages. A lot of people are wondering about refinancing, what the market's looking like, if you're in the midst of buying, all of those things. And so, I wanted to have Travis on to talk about that. But not just that, there's also going to be some fun in this because Travis is an accomplished musician, he and his wife. And so, we'll talk about that. Some of the things that they're doing while being socially distant. So, Travis, let's just get right into it. Tell us about what you do, where you work, and how long you've been with them.
Well, right now I work at home, like everybody, right? It's been an adjustment, but I work for Mortgage Network. So we're a private mortgage lender in Columbia, and we have offices all throughout South Carolina. We're based out of kind of the Boston, Massachusetts area, but we've got a strong presence in South Carolina and Hilton Head, Charleston, Columbia. Close a lot of loans in Greenville. We don't have an office there, but I
Okay.
would like to one day. But we cover South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida through the licenses in our different offices. So probably a couple of states I'm leaving out. So we do most of our business in Columbia, but we're definitely not limited to just Columbia.
That's awesome. So you've been seeing, you're like up close and personal kind of what's going on in the mortgage industry. And we really have, I have so many people ask me about it. Like, what are they going to do? What should they do? Is refinancing still a good option? If you want to start with refinance, maybe talk about that and then go into people who are buying, because I have a lot of people who are nervous about it, rates,
Hmm.
etc. As much as you can give us.
Yeah. So let's start with the what seems to be the most important conversation and what everybody wants to know is what are the rates?
Yeah.
What are the rates? What are the rates? Well, up until about 5 minutes before we started this call, I didn't know what today's rates were. We
Wow.
normally have rate sheets around 10:30 in the morning, and today it took until almost 1 o'clock. And the reason for that is that the markets are moving so much every day.
Mm.
Uh, Mortgage rates are ultimately determined by these mortgage-backed securities in the bond market and the way that they trade and the price that's paid for them, and if they're being bought or sold, that really determines your rate. So that market has been extremely volatile over the last 2 to 3 weeks. If you go back to March 9th, Monday, about 3 weeks ago, that was your best rate.
Wow.
So you were seeing, and different scenarios are going to see different rates, but let's just call it and say 3% was the 30-year fixed rate on
Yeah.
Monday 3 weeks ago. 3%.
That's
It's record lows.
unbelievable.
Okay, so it had already been low before that. It was three and a quarter, 3 3/8, 3.5, and we were already doing a ton of refinances. The industry as a whole had done a ton of refinances. One of the things that I read was that in a normal year, there's about $2 trillion of refi
Oops.
ignore on a call. Um, so $2 trillion of refinance activity in the mortgage world.
Right.
We're trying to put through 7 trillion in the span of 2 to 3 months. So the system is incredibly clogged up, and
Oh my gosh.
that started to do some very funny things to rates. So that 3% rate by the end of the next following week, that Thursday, Friday, was at 5%. So
Wow.
record volatility in a 2 week span. Now we've eased up, and that week ended into Monday last week for the Fed helping out by buying mortgage bonds. This is the most simplistic way to explain it, but we've stabilized thanks to the Fed buying mortgage bonds.
Okay.
So we've calmed down, seeing somewhere around 3.5, maybe 3.375 on a 30-year fixed. The problem is that if it's not A plus credit, it's become more difficult in the lending world.
Okay.
And so I'm sure you've heard some things in the past week of lenders raising credit score requirements.
Right.
And so that is happening, and it's not FHA that's changing it, but the problem is, think about the mortgage world as a whole with these record unemployment numbers coming out. There's no way that this massive number of layoffs can be a good thing for the mortgage world, because at the end of the day, people probably, most likely, will have trouble making their payments.
Right.
And so what that means is in the secondary market of people that buy these mortgages and service them, they're less interested. And so there's all these things that are impacting rates that may not normally impact rates.
Okay.
Volume, because there's so much, it's kind of the old school supply and demand.
Yeah.
All that to say, it's still a great time to refinance.
Okay.
Rates are still incredible. They were not a week and a half ago.
Okay.
Yes, they were better 3 weeks ago. My advice is don't get greedy. If you're
Yeah.
4.5 today and we can take you to 3.5, let's do it. If you want to wait and see if it gets lower, we can do that. But I've got a little bit of PTSD from a week and a half ago and seeing rates go from 3 to 5 and not knowing if it's going to come back.
Right.
Everyone says it is, but I don't see it. You don't sleep well at night. So rates are, I like to look at it this way. They're in the lowest range that they've ever been in.
Wow.
We're in the lowest range of interest rates that we've ever seen. And I think it's going to stay there. There may be volatility, but I do think we're going to stay in that range.
Okay.
The economy's not going to be in great shape, right? So
Right.
that would lead one to believe that we're going to see low interest rates today and in the future. How low does it get? I think we got to get these pipelines cleaned out.
Yeah.
My pipeline is as big as it's ever been, and everyone else in the industry is really in the same boat because it's a
Right.
spring market. We got purchases now.
Yes.
Purchases are
Absolutely.
hot. People are still buying. People are still selling, and it's moving quickly. I think I sent 4 or 5 pre-qual letters over the weekend. I know that 2 of them are already under contract.
Yeah.
So it's a great time to buy. It's still a good time to refinance. If your rate is under 4, it depends on the loan amount, and I'll shoot you straight and tell you if it makes sense. And that's what a lot of our calls have been, is just, yeah, you could save some money, but right now it probably doesn't make the most sense. Let's see if it gets
Right.
better. So everybody has a different conversation and a different reason to refinance. The reason you would refi is you want cash out. Maybe you've got equity. Maybe you're trying to get rid of your mortgage insurance,
Yeah.
taking cash out to pay off other debt, or just lower your rate, lower your term, shorten your terms, shave some years of the loan off. Kind of all of those have been things that we've seen in our pipeline in the last 2 to 3 weeks, but
That's
it's still
amazing.
good, but there's some crazy things going on.
I think that one of the things that you said is the biggest thing is don't be greedy. And I
Yeah.
know a lot of people, I mean, because even when you were talking weeks ago, when we were at that like 3%, there are people still like trying to like, oh, I'll wait it out. It's like, no, you don't want to wait. That is the biggest mistake you can make. And it actually happened to me on Amazon again this week after I made that whole big statement myself. I waited, and then supply and demand said that this very machine that I wanted for my home gym was 179. Now it's 249. But that's how it is. Like that's where
Yeah.
we're living right now. And people need to be aware, and just like, if you know that you need to do it, don't try to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah. And what's true today could be very different tomorrow.
Right. Especially now. So one of the things that I also heard you say was about like, as far as the requirements. So can you speak to the part about like, as far as what your credit score should be, or in the range of what we're looking at right now? Because I think that's going to be a huge conversation with buyers now, that before maybe they could have done something with like a 580 or 595. What are we looking at?
Yeah, it's hard to say, and it's going to be different almost everywhere you go right now, and that's not normal. There's a lot of good lenders in the Columbia and in the South Carolina area, and right now we're all set up maybe a little bit differently, and
Okay.
work a little bit differently in some very small ways. But FHA's cutoff is 580.
Okay.
That's the true cutoff. Uh, we have gone to a 620 cutoff currently. I don't
Okay.
know how long that will last. I know that there are some big banks that are at 680. I know
Okay.
other lenders that are similar to us that are 640 to 660 with maybe lower debt to income requirements. And the reason for this comes back to what we were talking about earlier, is that there's no one on the secondary market that wants to buy these loans.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
They're too risky, because this is where we need some help from the government. Is
Right.
they're bailing out everybody else and telling people that they can not make their mortgage payments. Well, the mortgage world, especially on FHA, the person that services that loan, that accepts your payments,
Right.
if you quit paying them, that servicer is still required to pay the principal and interest to the investors. Okay,
Okay.
so if you have all these people that quit paying their mortgages, the servicers are going to be out. They
Right.
can't.
I see what you're
There's
saying.
no way they survive, and so
Okay.
their appetite to buy a loan that may be a lower credit score, a higher debt to income, has basically been cut off. So
Okay.
before we got cut off, I had someone approved at 598,
Okay.
and when I went to go price out his interest rate, it'd be a 3.5% down payment and 8% in points, meaning he'd have to pay 8 percentage points, which is in essence he doesn't qualify.
Okay.
So that was kind of what we had seen before, but I still would say there's a place for you. I think if you're 620 to 640,
Okay.
I do think that we could see that number go up briefly. I don't think
Yeah.
that that'll be the long term. I think it will come back down. But ultimately, right now, you're not seeing many people that are willing to go below 620 on your FHA type loans.
I see what you're saying. Okay. I think that's like a huge thing to really cover because I've had a lot of people ask that question about kind of like what we're looking at. So I would say definitely, or my thoughts on that are just my personal thoughts are if pay what you can on minimum on things, even if it's a
Mm-hmm.
minimum balance, so that you don't threaten your credit score with going any lower. So that at the time, if you were looking to buy and 580 was the score then and it's not right now, keep doing the minimum that you can do, that they're requiring you to do so that you can stay in the game. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, number one, pay everything you have on time.
Yeah.
And I understand that right now that's going to be difficult for some
Right.
people. But with whatever ability you have, pay everything that you have on time. The other thing is that the biggest way to manipulate credit scores is through your credit card balances
Mhm.
and the limit that you have. So if all your cards are maxed out, even if you're paying on time, it will hurt your score. So if you're at 615, 610 and you're paying on time, if you can get your credit card balances down,
Yes,
that's enough to push you up to 630 in a short period of time.
that's a really good tip. Everybody, I hope you heard that because I think a lot of people go, well, I pay on time and they don't really know how credit works. And I definitely would love to do a whole nother show about that because I
Yeah.
think that's one of the biggest misunderstood things of all time in the financial world is getting a financial education as it pertains to credit and how credit
Hmm.
works. So you've given us a lot to chew on, Travis.
Yeah.
And
Hopefully
I am
it's
so
helpful.
thankful. I think it was definitely helpful. So now I kind of want to talk to you because, like you said, you're working from home. We're all working from home. So you got some littles, and what kind of things are you guys doing over there? How are you balancing, you and your wife balancing having the kiddos at home and work?
So my wife is taking care of most of the homeschool requirements, and only one of ours is in school. So we're getting through it and watching probably more screen time than normal. Uh, Thankfully, these last few days the weather's been great, so we spent a
Yeah.
lot of time outside and inhaling pollen, and it's been a nice few days. And we're a musical family, so we've played music and.
Yes. That's what I want to
Get the
talk
kids
about.
involved in cooking. We
Yes.
dyed Easter eggs yesterday, so trying to keep it, something new every day. We live on a little 13-acre lake, so I think the plan tonight is get some kayaks and canoes and take the kids out and paddle and just try to be outside, look up and see the blue sky and say, I think everything's going to be okay.
That's awesome. Now, you guys are also, like you said, you guys are a musical family. So, can you tell us about what you guys do, you and your wife? Because I've also seen some of your lives, which I think is very uplifting, and where other people who may not necessarily be like a friend of yours personally on Facebook,
Yeah, yeah.
where they can see you guys and kind of like, be a part of that, feeling like encouraged and inspired. I mean, you guys are amazing. Just fun fact.
Oh,
You guys
thank
are
you.
amazing. He also has a twin brother who I also know who's also musically inclined as well as his wife. So it's like you guys are like I not a triple threat. What do you call it if it's four people? I don't know.
Yeah. Quadruple threat.
Yes, a quadruple threat. So yeah, so tell us about the music, what you guys are doing right now, what we can expect, and all that other good stuff.
Yeah, so we spent a lot of time the last 2 weeks trying to get videos for church. So we're doing like all the music for our church at home and editing and recording those and trying to put those out. So I've been posting some of those, but my wife, her name is Ashley Wright, and we recorded a project last year in Asheville, songs that she had written, and it's called Ashley Wright and the Vance Gap Ramblers. It's a long name, but it's a name that means a lot to us from an area that was special to us up in Asheville. And so we've done some shows at Curiosity Coffee Bar and at the White Mule, and think about places like that right now. I mean, it's a
Oh
struggle for
gosh,
those kind
I
of
know.
places. So
So
we've
support them.
been
Curiosity Coffee.
support your
I think they're still
local
doing stuff, right?
businesses. Yeah, they are.
Curiosity still okay, good. Yeah,
Hmm.
Curiosity Coffee. Do you know if White Mill's doing anything?
I don't know.
So we
I don't
definitely
think
want to plug
so.
those places, guys. If you can, definitely support your local businesses. We really need them when we come back from all of this.
Hmm.
We need them. So
Yep.
Curiosity Coffee's on the list.
Into
Definitely.
coffee.
Into, I mean, gosh, yeah. I mean, there's so many, but yeah, continue on. Tell us more.
Yeah. So this is a hobby for us. It's just something we enjoy, and uh, we're trying to do a Facebook Live of some covers at some point. We've just been so busy trying to, work has been crazy. It's
Yeah.
just kind of end the day, and you don't really feel like flipping the camera on to play music, but it's been a lot of fun. So, but lately we've just been posting a lot of hymns and stuff that we've been doing through church, or posting for church, or helping out other people with their church, and posting those online. And just good to have some inspiring, uplifting songs right now when it's a little bit crazy out there.
So are they on YouTube too? Can they see? Because I can't remember if there was I thought there was a YouTube.
There is, yeah. I've put a good many of those up on
Okay.
YouTube, and it's on the Ashley Wright and the Vance Gap Rambler page, and then I've also shared some to my personal Facebook page.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll actually put some of the links in the comments, you
Cool.
guys, so you'll be able to find them there and go check out their music. And you also, like you said, you also have an album out, and that you get that they can go purchase as well, like on
Hmm.
iTunes. Is that right? Or if
That's
you have
right.
Apple Music, I think you can still listen to it. But we want you to
Yeah,
support.
yeah. We get like a
Go buy
penny
it.
for we get a penny for every 20 streams, somewhere in that line.
What?
So
Oh my gosh! Wow.
it's fun to watch it come through. A penny, 5 cent. Yeah.
That is unbelievable. Well, I always like to know, kind of, as I'm talking to people in the industry and that we work with, and just that are doing, we're in this whole different world now. What has been the most, I guess, biggest lesson that you feel like you learned through all of this?
The
Or
sun's going
maybe,
to come up another day, right?
yeah,
It's I've had, there's a lot of chaos right now. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of people worried that are in our pipelines that are worried they'll lose their jobs and won't be able to close.
right,
And so, as a realtor and as a mortgage lender, we're almost therapists some days. And so
yeah,
you get to learn a lot about people, and hopefully be able to offer them some comfort and peace, and say, this is going to be okay, just to, and seeing it for myself, I feel that anxiety inside
oh,
of, you
yes,
know, what if
yeah,
you do lose your job? What
right,
if we,
yeah,
what if these loans don't close? What if this house doesn't appraise? So
yeah,
I think it's just remembering there are so many things that we can't control. And when you let go of those, it's a lot easier to go through the day and focus on what you can do, what you
hmm,
can be in charge of, and that's just having good communication, and uh, understanding that sometimes things don't go our way,
yeah,
but there are things that are out of our control.
yeah.
And if you can realize that, sometimes it'll help you get to a place of peace and no anxiety a little bit quicker.
I agree 100%. Now, I've been seeing a lot of people have these funny videos where something's like what their kids are doing at home. Do your kids realize yet that like you're there all the time? Have they realized that is this weird for them?
Yeah, I think, they say daddy works all the time. Daddy works all the time, and now he's working at home. And I've had my lunch brought up to me by my 6-year-old a couple of days ago. That was nice. And then I have a I guess he'll be about to be 3, no, about to be 4, and our 2-year-old and then soon to be 4-year-old. They've snuck up here a couple times. But I did give strict instructions to not come up between 1 and 1:30 to 2 o'clock. I said,
Nice.
leave me alone.
See, but you know what? Those are the things that are going viral. These video moments with
Yeah.
kids and like family members coming in with like
Yep.
no pants. It's crazy. It's crazy. So there, it's kind of cool to see the like fun, lighthearted things.
Yeah.
One of the things I've asked a lot of people, and that I'm hearing stories about that are fun. What are one of some of the things that you find yourself doing now that maybe you didn't do before since you work from home, or just in general being like self-distancing from everybody? What are some of the things that you're like, man, I never did that, or I didn't have time to do that, now I am doing it?
I'm trying to exercise consistently.
Yes, I
There's
would
no
too.
excuse.
Oh, I got smitten. I literally had like, so I went online, and this is just unbelievable to me. I was trying to be cheap. I was getting greedy, and I didn't buy that like workout thing. It's called an
Mm-hmm.
escape deck, and I needed like a workout bench to add to my boxing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, it's like everything in it. So I waited, and I was like, oh, it's gonna go down lower. It didn't. It went to 249, and then now it's out. And then we tried to go find it somewhere else. All the fitness websites are shut down. They're like,
Oh yeah.
we can't handle like
Mm-hmm.
all the volume, and so they've shut it down to fulfill orders.
Yep.
Unbelievable. So we're all
The
gonna
other
come out like
thing,
the Hulk.
yeah. The other thing I've been doing, just taking some guitar lessons from Freeway Music,
Yes,
and I've just kind of played a lot more at home.
that's
My
awesome.
guitar's over there. I just sit down and take a break, which I don't necessarily do as much in my office, and learning some 80s and 90s rock and roll solos
Yes.
for no good reason other than might as well.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I feel like we've
I appreciate you
given
having me.
oh, absolutely. Like, I mean, we've worked together so long now. It's shout out to his brother Matt, who I knew first. However, I see
He's a
Travis
good looking
more.
fella.
Yes, you guys look exactly alike sometimes, and then sometimes, you're very similar. It's very
Yeah.
weird. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
But so you
He's a
guys, are you socially distancing from each other? And is that weird for you as a twin?
Yeah, we were supposed to get together a couple weekends ago and we scratched it. It's like, who knows? What are you supposed to do right now?
Yeah, that's
Are you
true.
supposed to be with your family? I mean,
Yeah.
so far we've kind of played by the rules, and um, it is
Well,
what it is.
you might should all get on, you, your wife, Matt and Libby, and do like a house party of you guys
Yeah,
playing together. I'm here for it.
that would be fun.
Let me know. Let me know what you think.
All right. Can Kelly introduce us? Can you like MC it?
Listen, I got you covered. I got you covered. He's been they like moved stuff home too as well. So it's a little, working from
Hmm.
home, and then he's got like studio stuff. So we're all coping. We're all trying to figure out like
Yes,
this new thing. It's
absolutely.
weird him coming. He works really hard, and so it's weird. He usually goes to work at 5:30 and then comes home like sometimes 7-ish, and then you get up and at 4 and do it all over again. So it's weird and awesome. I will say this: you want to be quarantined with somebody that you like, and thank heavens he's an
Yes,
amazing person. It's like
yes.
a lot of people may be questioning their marriage choices. Thank God, I am not. He is awesome. So
I do have one question. So, did you have a snake in your house last night?
yes, Travis. It was
That's
the
what I
most
thought.
unbelievable thing, and and it happened. I said I was going to bed early, and I noticed like everything. I noticed everything, and so I was going up the stairs, and we have like this window over our front door, and I'm like, is that insulation? We didn't have that. And I was like, if it is, it looks tacky. So then my mind starts running like, what is that? So I go get the stool because I'm 5'1", and I'm like looking, and then there's a bird's nest on the side of it, and I see this thing, and it starts trying to like get at like bugs, and then it's like about 4 feet long. And then I was first quiet, and then I was like, oh gosh, what if Kelly wakes up? He's a little bit older than me too, so I don't want him to die. And he comes out there and is startled. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't want anybody to have a heart attack. My Amazon guy, I mean, my cousins were coming to do the yard. It was just so much stuff. And I was like, I need to like try to do this myself. But then I started screaming when it moved. And so he didn't get much sleep. So
That's unfortunate.
it's gone now. It's gone. And my
Good.
cousins were here just now. And I was like, if you see it, chop it up. But I think they said it's a rat snake.
That's fine.
So
That'll be all right.
pray for me. I literally was saying things like, I live in a community. I don't live in the woods. This is not where we belong. And so the guy across the street from me is actually a wildlife guy, like one of those people. And so
Mm-hmm.
it was too early, so Kelly's out at the door in his underwear and trying to kill this snake. And I was like, I think people are going to see this. So hopefully it's
It's
not
on
a
your
Ring
it's
doorbell.
on your Nest Cam somewhere.
It is. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. So, but I appreciate you being on,
Thanks,
and we
Angela.
definitely are going to do this again. We'll have to check back in and talk about kind of like as things change so that we can keep everybody informed of what's going on. And just hopefully you guys take the advice that Travis said. We're taking everything one day at a time, and just, encourage each other, love on each other. Go check out their band. I'm definitely going to put the comments there and then the
Cool.
hymns as well, so you guys can be encouraged. And if you are or have questions about mortgages or thinking about refinancing or even purchasing a home, make sure you reach out to Travis. Travis, do you want to tell them how they can reach out to you?
Yeah, cell phone is always on me, and that's really the best way. It's 803-413-5669.
Okay,
So that's
perfect.
the best way, 803-413-5669.
Okay.
Uh, search Travis Wright Mortgage, and you'll find all you need. Website out there. So that should take care of it.
Well, thank you so much. Enjoy your lovely family, and I will
Thank you.
talk to you
Enjoyed it.
soon.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.